Let's see. Hi, Oscar. All right, so let's go ahead and get this started. We might have to lean in a little bit closer. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Hall, and I am the Commercially Sexually Exploited Youth Project Coordinator at the Texas Alliance of Child and Family Services. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and one of the things that we've wanted to do, especially given that today is Human Trafficking Awareness Day, is to really highlight the efforts of one of our members, the El Paso Center for Children, in their efforts to really support long-term healing and recovery for survivors of commercial sexual exploitation. Oscar, would you like to
that's well, first and foremost, thank you to the Alliance and for Sarah and Andrew and everyone that, is continuously supporting us, and to our leaders here at El Paso Center for Children that are always, supporting our roles and our programs. My name is Oscar Milan. I am the Foster Care Program Director. Next to me, I have Lupe Draskowski. She is our Clinical Coordinator. And next to Sarah, we have our Program Manager, Lisette Bittner. Liz Bittner, I'm sorry. So I just wanted to go ahead and introduce my team. I have an incredible team, and I came into El Paso Center for Children back in August, and this was a new program for me. This was a program in which I had not served this population in the past, and I was incredibly surprised by the quality of work that both Liz and Lupe do in terms of working with the families, these specialized foster care families that go through a very extensive training to be able to help these survivors of sexual exploitation and human trafficking. So it is incredible to see the amount of work that they do, and how much they actually care for the kiddos that are placed in their home. So we couldn't be happier for having such an amazing team. And I've learned quite a bit, and we invite those are in the community that want to continue to support the center and who also want to learn more about. We have our orientations on the last Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. and we will provide you more information on how to become a therapeutic foster parent. And on top of that, we'll also provide you information on how to become a foster parent that can care for sexually exploited youth that are coming into the foster care system, and where Lupe would be able to provide services and Liz would be able to provide services when going to their home and addressing all of their needs.
That's amazing, Oscar. And I just really want to say how grateful we are for the El Paso Center for Children for being some of the forerunners in this arena, really here in Texas, providing foster care services for this population. As a survivor myself, I know that there are a lot of pieces to the puzzle of really helping survivors go through that long-term healing journey. And I was wondering which ones y'all think are, most important.
I'm sorry, Sarah, cut off a little bit. Could you repeat that one more time?
Oh, sure. I think I might have accidentally covered the microphone.
Please.
What I was saying is that, as a survivor myself, I know that there are a lot of pieces to the puzzle when it comes to really supporting long-term healing for this population. And I was wondering, what do y'all think are the most important pieces of that puzzle?
Sarah, that is a great question. And I want to say that for me, what I have seen, one of the most integral parts of this is building a connection, first and foremost, because they know as soon as they walk into the room if you're truly there for them or not, or if you're there just for documentations, for number purposes, and they can assess that very quickly. So just really being able to build that connection with them, allowing them to go at their pace, right? Kind of meeting them where they're at is so important, because sometimes we lose track of how long healing can take. And healing doesn't necessarily have a time frame of how it starts or where it finishes. So really understanding that and understanding where they're at and what their needs are currently at is really important as well. And just allowing them and helping them build that autonomy, right? That self, because for so many of them, they lost that. They didn't have that. Somebody was speaking on their behalf. Somebody was telling them what to do, even if it's something that they didn't want to do. So just helping them learn that they have a say in their life and that autonomy that goes with it. I find those to be most critical aspects when we get our youth in our program.
And I will say, I really agree with that, Lupe. Relationships are so important, especially for people who have been, severely hurt by relationships or who have had complex trauma as a result of the relationships in their lives. And that is definitely a huge factor that exists in commercial sexual exploitation. And so healing does have to come through relationships. You need that connection, and you really need that deep ability to be there for these youth during their most difficult times, to really support them on their journey, and and to give them that space for autonomy and for being able to make those choices that are going to help them rise above maybe what has happened in their past, to be able to go on to have really wonderful, healthy adult lives. Liz, what do you
Yeah, the
I
connection part of it, but also a lot of the things that we do encourage our girls is that, whenever we also get males, we have also had LGBTQ youth community, youth be in our program. And empowerment is definitely something important that we do. I know that's something that we work on them with their self-esteem and ability to be able to have that voice, because like it was mentioned by both Sarah and Lupe, is that sometimes when they're victims of human trafficking, that voice is no longer there. But once we're treating them and helping them with that healing process, they're able to gain that voice back again.
That's amazing. And really giving youth a voice is so important in helping them continue moving forward.
absolutely. And Sarah, if I can mention another thing that we see that is so important in helping them heal is being able to put them with some consistency, but because it seems like consistency is something that they really struggle with and didn't have. So giving them that consistency pattern, showing them we're going to be present no matter what, we're going to help you, we're here for you, even when they push back, right? Give them their space, but show them we're here, and give them that consistency that they really never had. I find really puts them at a place where they can develop that felt safety, and they learn to start trusting.
Yes, I cannot emphasize that enough, Lupe. I know that, for myself, when I was dealing with some really difficult situations in commercial sexual exploitation and then early in recovery, it very much felt like my life was chaos. And that chaos only seemed to create more chaos. And so having that consistency, having something in my life that was stable, was really the cornerstone of being able to create stability in other parts of my life. And I really think it's amazing that the El Paso Center for Children is focused on that, on being that safe home base, that touch point, that piece of stability to help youth start figuring out how to create stability in other parts of their lives.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Sarah. And we couldn't agree more. And I have to say, we have such an amazing team, not just within our agency, but everyone that we partner with, because it takes an entire team, right? It takes a village to really help with this. So we do what we can on our side, but we also rely so heavily on any mental health needs that we have when it comes to psychiatric medication management, added supported case management services, resources for jobs, for school, everything that really gives them that sense of learning how to become independent. And we couldn't do that on our own, although we're an amazing agency that has so many resources. We truly still do thrive out of the partnerships we have with so many other community members here.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with that more. Just our partnership with TACFS, the trainings that you've provided us in recent months, not only enhance our abilities and our toolbox on how to help our kiddos, but also very importantly, how to further train our professional foster parents, because at the end of the day, they, just like the youth that they serve, they are the ones that are there at the front line. They are the ones that do the most challenging, They are the ones that do the most difficult. They're the ones that are there for their youth. And I couldn't be happier for our families that are currently doing that. And it just really shows that they do it because they genuinely care. These kiddos have been placed for a long time. We're talking a year or 2 years. And it just goes to show the commitment that they have. And if it weren't for partners, like Lupe was saying, if it weren't for our foster parents, we wouldn't be here. And yeah, I mean, I think that it takes a village to do it. It really does, because otherwise, one single person, one single program, it would be very challenging to be able to serve this population.
I agree. I mean, I know that this population carries with it its own set of challenges and its own set of difficulties. It can be very hard to connect with youth, knowing that they're struggling, knowing that recovery takes a while. And as Lupe said earlier, that recovery isn't linear. It doesn't necessarily follow a specific timeline or a specific path, but that being there and supporting these youth along the way, being able to pull on some of those resources that you have. And I mean, I've just got to say, not only are your staff amazing, but also I've met quite a few of your foster parents. And just all around, it seems as though the El Paso community has really pulled together in order to help support the program through, more people becoming foster parents, and through really embracing the work that y'all are doing here. And I have to say, that's amazing. It's always wonderful when communities are working together in order to help support those who have been, so horrifically victimized through commercial sexual exploitation, through abuse, through neglect, through even all of those things that are even just risk factors for future exploitation. Being able to help support them and provide that consistency and that long-term commitment, not only to housing through foster parents, but to all of the emotional support and the day-to-day help and assistance that your foster parents are providing for these youth. That is really just absolutely amazing. And I've got to say that you have a fantastic team here.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I've been here for up to 5 months now, and I have learned so much from Lupe and from Liz and from our professional foster parents, because they have been doing this for much longer than I have. And just to see the commitment that goes into from the very beginning that we learned that DFPS is requesting a home for a 6A youth, and that we see a possibility of one of our homes being able to serve that child. The commitment starts from that point, from reading everything, all the documentation, from coordinating, and as some of these things happen immediately, and they have to coordinate a Zoom meeting, because a lot of these kiddos are not in town, or most of them are not in town. So, they have to coordinate that, and they meet Liz, and they meet Lupe, and we meet the case worker, and we meet the youth. And you have to make an assessment, and we also have to, from the very beginning, talk about expectations, and talk about services, and talk about how we can help them and empower them from day one as to wanting to choose to come into one of our homes, and to wanting to have that commitment with us. So from that point forward, there isn't a day that I don't see Liz or Lupe supporting our professional foster parents. And they do it with all of our families, but in this specific program, it's continued support day in and day out. I mean, we could be having lunch, we could be in the morning having a meeting, and at any point, there is one of our families asking for some of our support, and it requires us to immediately, tend to them and make sure that we're helping them and supporting them all the time.
Well, and I think, it is through that support that you are providing to not only your other staff members, but to the foster parents who are working with these youth, that really allow for, most foster parents, they're coming into this first time, they may not have had training before on this population. They may not ever have met a youth who has experienced commercial sexual before agreeing to foster through the El Paso Center for Children. And I know that your team take them through some awesome trainings, but then it's that long-term support that you provide to those foster parents that really helps them to maintain that commitment and to understand, what is going on with this particular youth and how can they continue to support them. In some ways, it's kind of like, I think about it as like a pyramid of support where, the organization supports the foster parents and the foster parents support the youth. And then you have the wraparound services through case management and your clinical team that are also working to really support each one of these kids that's in your program in a different way, catering to their own unique needs and helping them figure out, where do we go from here? How do we help support you in continued healing?
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, just really, again, thank you, Alliance and our leaders, and for providing us with this opportunity to serve this very, very specific population, just to, again, invite those that are listening to this. We're going to upload it on Facebook. We're going to upload it on Instagram. If you know of anyone that would be someone that can help out, not just for specialized foster care, but a therapeutic foster parent, just become a foster parent, and we'll walk along the way to serve a child that it requires our community help. And so if there's an interest from you, please give us a call. If there is someone that you feel would be a great candidate to be a foster parent, just tell them about us. Share our videos. Send it. If you don't want to share our videos because you don't want people to see that you've shared the video, maybe you can send them directly. Instant message, but just even that grain of sand can go a very long way into providing more opportunities for our kids to be served properly.
That's amazing. And I want to say thank you so much to Oscar, Lupe, and Liz for joining us here. As I said, we did really want to elevate our partners' efforts in making sure that the needs of these youth are being met, that they're being supported in their healing journeys, and that recovery and healing does take a lot of consistent, coordinated efforts from a lot of different roles in order to support that. So thank you all for being here. I sincerely appreciate you being willing to join me, and also for you inviting me onto your campus so that I could be here in person with y'all as we're discussing these issues and really working to see how we can continue to align our efforts in furthering the healing for these youth throughout the state. One last thing before I think I will give you all the rest of your evenings back. Is that the Texas Alliance for Child and Family Services, we are releasing our human trafficking fact sheet. That should be going live on our website tonight. And so that is another resource that helps people to start to understand some of the signs that youth may be exploited, that help see, what are some of the truths, what are some of the myths, what are some of those pieces in order to really be able to start understanding how youth that they're serving may already be part of this population, and what are those warning signs, what are those risk factors, but then also what resources are available throughout the state in order to help support these youth. Who should you notify if you think a youth is being trafficked? Where can you go for more training? Where can you find those resources that your team or your organization needs in order to be able to continue supporting these youth that may in some cases already be in other systems of care? Our social media person is texting in on our chat to say that it is on our publications page right now. And so that's available at tacfs.org. Are there any last thoughts or anything else that you three would like to share before we kind of conclude for now?
Hey, Lupe, or you, Liz, anything, ladies?
Just thank you. Thank you again, Sarah. Thank you to everyone out there that's joining. And just like Oscar said, Sarah said, anyone, we're looking for foster parents. We have great services to offer. We would love to be able to service more youth. The demand is definitely there, and we have the resources. So please, anyone that is interested, pass on the message. We're here for support. We're here to start helping them in their healing phase.
Thank you so much, Lupe. And yes, that is so important. As I said, I love how much the El Paso community has already, been working to help support the work that y'all are doing here. And also, as you said, there's still demand. There's still a need for more foster parents to help support youth like this. And once again, thank you guys so much for being one of our partners. We so appreciate the work that y'all do for all youth in care, including and especially this population. So thank you. It's so important for survivors to be able to access services that are really geared towards meeting their needs. And I know that the El Paso Center for Children has exactly that.
And don't forget that if you suspect human trafficking, you have to report it.
Yes, every adult in the state of Texas is a mandated reporter, and if you suspect that someone is being trafficked, that is something that you do need to report both to CPS and to law enforcement. So, thank you.
Well, thank you all very much. Liz, anything you want to say?
No, thank you so much. And like Oscar and Lupe said, we are a great team, and we're looking for new foster parents to open new foster homes for our youth. So please come work with us. We are great.
They are great.
I completely agree with you.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for your time tonight. And yeah, well, we're going to go party after this. And by party, come out here into the office and just celebrate by going like, yes, that went really well. But thank you again. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you all. Thank you all for watching. Have a good evening.
Bye.